Tom Brady retired at 45, not because his body gave out, because he decided to.
I'm retiring. For good.
Every sports scientist said it was impossible. Athletes peak at 27, reaction times slow, joints deteriorate, minds get clouded by pressure, age, and accumulated failure. Brady ignored all of it. At 44, he orchestrated the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history. Down 28-3, third quarter. Over 70,000 people in that stadium had emotionally checked out. Millions watching at home had switched channels. He didn't. And that moment, that specific refusal to collapse was not a miracle. It was a system, a carefully engineered system that Brady had been building for over 2 decades. Most people call it mental toughness. That's too simple. What Brady developed was something more precise, more deliberate, and more terrifying: cognitive efficiency. This is exactly how he built it, and why it made him the most dominant player in NFL history. Here's the fact nobody leads with. Brady was not gifted. His NFL Combine results were quietly embarrassing. 5.28 seconds in the 40-yard dash. Dead last among quarterbacks that year. Thin frame. Below average arm strength. No elite athleticism, nothing that screamed future legend. 6 teams passed on him. He went in the 6th round, pick 199. He was a late backup quarterback expected to sit on a bench for 2 seasons and retire quietly. Instead, he played until 45, won 7 Super Bowls, set nearly every meaningful passing record in the history of the sport. So the question is not about his body. His body was average. The question is about what was happening between his ears. Every NFL quarterback deals with noise. Not stadium noise, mental noise. 80,000 people screaming. 11 defenders engineering ways to destroy you before you finish a single thought. Coaches pushing plays through your earpiece in real time. Most quarterbacks absorb that pressure and crack under it slowly. Their decision-making phrase, their reads get slower. They start playing not to lose instead of playing to win. Brady did the opposite. The louder everything got around him, the quieter he became inside. Neuroscientists studying elite performers have documented this. It's called default mode network suppression. Under extreme pressure, high performers learn to shut off the brain's internal chatter, the constant background voice running worst-case scenarios, replaying yesterday's mistakes, projecting tomorrow's fear. Most athletes never silence it. Brady trained his mind to live without it. He compressed his entire cognitive world into one interval. The next 3 seconds, that's all that existed. Everything else, the scoreboard, the crowd, the stakes, became irrelevant noise that his brain had learned to filter automatically. That filter wasn't natural. It was built. Brady built his cognitive efficiency around 4 non-negotiable pillars. Pillar 1, sleep as a competitive weapon. Brady slept 9 hours a night. During the season, he was in bed by 8:30 p.m. This was not a preference. It was strategic. Here's what sleep deprivation does to an NFL quarterback. It degrades prefrontal cortex function, the part of the brain handling rapid decision-making under pressure. Sleep-deprived athletes don't just move slower. Their brains literally process risk incorrectly. Panic replaces calculation. Hesitation replaces confidence. Brady refused to let that happen to him, ever. While other players were staying up watching film at midnight, Brady was already recovering. His brain was consolidating memory, sharpening pattern recognition, and preparing for the next performance. Sleep was not rest. It was preparation. Pillar 2, diet as signal control. The TB12 method confused people who thought it was about aesthetics. It wasn't. It was about inflammation. Brady eliminated processed sugar, refined carbohydrates, and alcohol entirely. 80% plant-based diet. No nightshades. No foods known to trigger systemic inflammation. People mocked the discipline, quietly, but chronic inflammation doesn't only destroy joints and soft tissue, it disrupts neurotransmitter production. It creates the mental fog that slows decision-making by milliseconds. In a game where half a second separates a touchdown from an interception, fog is fatal. Brady was removing every possible source of it. Pillar 3, film study as pattern engineering. Brady watched more game film than almost any quarterback in the modern era, but he wasn't just memorizing plays. He was programming pattern recognition into his nervous system. The human brain can process visual information in 13 milliseconds, but recognizing a complex defensive pattern, a linebacker's pre-snap weight shift, a safety's early rotation, a cornerback giving away man coverage requires thousands of repetitions before the brain stops thinking and starts recognizing automatically. The gap between thinking and recognizing is roughly half a second. In the NFL, that gap is the difference between a completed pass and a sack. Brady closed that gap through repetition. By the time he was 40, he had seen every defensive scheme so many times that his read process wasn't conscious anymore. It was instinct engineered through obsessive preparation. Pillar 4. Emotional regulation as athletic skill. Brady worked with sports psychologists throughout his career. He practiced meditation and nervous system regulation exercises with the same seriousness he gave to throwing mechanics. This is heart rate variability training. HRV measures how quickly your nervous system can transition from a high-stress state back to a calm, controlled baseline. Elite performers with high HRV can spike into adrenaline, get the benefits of intensity, and then return to clarity fast. Low HRV means you stay panicked longer, your decisions suffer, your processing slows. Brady's emotional regulation was so advanced that during the 28-3 comeback, players on the sideline reported that he seemed almost calm, not cold, not disconnected, just unreachable by panic. By age 40, most NFL quarterbacks are finished. Processing speed drops. Recovery windows extend. The body accumulates damage it can no longer fully repair. Brady had a different framework for aging. He believed that most athletic decline was not inevitable. It was the result of accumulated lifestyle choices, poor sleep, inflammatory diet, untrained nervous systems, and a complete neglect of the brain as a performance organ. While other quarterbacks were absorbing punishment and hoping to recover, Brady was using pliability training to keep his musculature responsive and injury-resistant. He was building a body and mind that did not decay at the standard rate. He was not trying to stay young. He was trying to stay efficient. Young means explosive, fast, raw. Efficient means zero wasted energy, zero wasted thought, zero unnecessary movement. At 45, Brady was not the fastest quarterback on any field he played on, but he processed defensive information faster than men 10 years younger. He made decisions before pressure even fully arrived. He didn't see the field as it was, he saw it as it was about to become. That is not age-defying. That is mastery. Super Bowl LI, third quarter, down 28-3. The game was, by every statistical model, over. Every broadcast commentator had started drafting their closing narratives. The Atlanta Falcons were already being crowned champions in real time. Brady called timeout. He walked to the sideline. According to teammates, he gathered the offense and said 5 words. "We are going to win," not as a rallying cry, as a calculation delivered out loud. His brain had already processed the remaining possessions. He had seen Atlanta's defensive scheme under pressure dozens of times in film sessions. He knew exactly how they would respond to a 2-minute drill. He knew where the coverage would break. He was not hoping. He was reading a future he had already studied. The Falcons didn't just lose that game. They lost to a system that had been built over 23 years, specifically to perform when everything was collapsing around it. Brady did not have the best arm in NFL history. He did not have the best body. He had the most deliberately engineered mind. And the uncomfortable truth is this: he built it. Deliberately, daily, through sleep, diet, repetition, and emotional discipline that most people would never sustain for a single season, let alone 2 decades. Most people want to perform like Brady. Almost nobody wants to live like Brady. That is the gap. Cognitive efficiency is not a talent you are born with. It is a system you choose to build or choose to ignore. The question was never whether you are capable. The question is whether you are willing. The greatest athletes in history didn't just train their bodies differently, they engineered their minds differently. If you want to understand exactly how the next video breaks down the psychological architecture behind the world's most elite performers, and it will change how you think about performance forever.